So it's going to be David and Goliath, isn't it? Little GN versus Big Delage.
That's right.
It'll be interesting to see if Patrick Blakeney-Edwards the car is on 8 cylinders.
Been running on 7, partly, and he's got away quite slowly. He's been gobbled up. Mark Walker was rocketed past him on the right-hand side. Mark Walker's ahead going up towards Madgwick, but it's Seleski who leads in the Big Delage. Walker is second. Blakeney-Edwards is third. And look at that, number 3, the Mercedes. Here comes the Fiat. The Beast of Turin comes out, and we're riding on board with Duncan Pittaway. So we're gobbling up some of the smaller engine bolides, 28.4 litre 4-cylinder engine under the bonnet of the Fiat.
Well, what's remarkable at the head of the field, Matthias Seleski got a fantastic start, and he's lengths clear as they go through forward water down the dip. At the front of the shot, you'll just see Seleski made quite a gap, and now starting to come back at him at the 2 GNs. And Pat Blakeney-Edwards in third place. Has he got past Walker? No, he hasn't. Walker's gone past into the lead of the race. The little black and yellow striped car taking the lead. Walker leading hard over Seleski in the middle of that group, and then our outstanding pole starter, Pat Blakeney-Edwards, so much quicker in practice, but he's down in third place at the moment as they get down to Laban for the first time.
Round they go, and see Patrick Blakeney-Edwards just delicately balancing the GN Curtis. Was 8.7 seconds quicker than anybody else in qualifying yesterday, but to say it has been lapsing on to 7 cylinders.
Ben Collins, incredible.
Here's Seleski's back ahead.
Oh, and just to report, Majoub did start the race. He's down at the rear, but he looks like he's about to pull off. But Seleski is a bit more grunt than Mark Walker. Mark Walker, though, when he gets the fiddly bits, he won't be really caring too much about doing a great deal of braking down to Woodcote, but he's tucked in behind Seleski. Could still be in front when he gets to the chicane, though. Let's see. Well, Seleski's got the inside covered, but Mark Walker will be very extravagant on the steering and leaning over as low as he can be, but then the grunt of the Delage will pay off, and Seleski, what's he doing? He's waving to the pit wall.
2 cylinders versus 12.
Yes, it's a real drub sounding car number 20, the GN Thunderbug. Makes really quite a rumble. And Pat Blakeney-Edwards does not have the answers today because he's falling back rather than closing in. Ben Collins in third place, sitting highest of all.
I think it's popping and banging a bit, the GN Curtis.
Andrew Frankel coming up in the Bentley TT. He's in 7th place.
That's in fact where he started, so...
Behind him is Gareth Graham.
And the big Hornstead Ben's going well as well.
So that's Marcus Kerr. I think Patrick Blakeney-Edwards will be fiddling with that ignition.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just
retard.
Well, exactly. I'm just looking to see what he's doing. He's not getting closer to the car in second, but it's no longer Seleski in the lead. He's in second. Look how much the opening half of the lap that our new race leader, car number 20, Mark Walker, has pulled clear. So we thought the grunt of the Delage would pay off down the straights, but quicker through the corners, undoubtedly, is the GN Thunderbug, popping and banging as it goes.
Outside gear change on the right-hand side. Pops in another chain. Got 4 of them, I think. There's Blakeney-Edwards.
It's picking up a little, do you sense, Chris, the GN Curtis? 2:04 was the opening standing start lap from Seleski. Bear in mind that Patrick Blakeney-Edwards secured pole with a 1:44.259. Way to go. The Fafnir there for a moment. Blakeney-Edwards was 4.8 seconds away from the lead at the end of the first lap. They've had their first flying lap now. He was to string out just a little bit. Walker leads.
I suspect Blakeney-Edwards is on.
And Blakeney-Edwards has come into the pits. Oh, it sounds really rough.
Is it?
Yeah, so that means Scaldwell in number 5, the rain Dietrich.
Retarded, isn't it?
It's up in the third place.
Retarded.
Yeah, the Blakeney out again with a plug lead maybe tightened up.
Well, actually, if he can regain the sort of speed advantage he had through the course of practice, there's no reason why he couldn't get up to the podium. He seems to have emerged in about 10th place, just trying to see who's
come out ahead of the Fafnir, hasn't he? So, yes, he's resumed in 9th.
Okay, out in 9th. We're just slot that into our memories. Quarter of an hour remaining until the checkered flag comes out. The S76 Fiat banging along with Duncan Pittaway on board down in 14th place. He's gaining positions and still flaming just to entertain the fans.
And I think I glimpsed Julian behind, yes, just up alongside the Fiat. Takes him on the inside of Madgwick.
Well, that car's had quite a few problems, Julian Majoub's Sunbeam. He's pulled to the side of the circuit once, he's nearly pulled off another time, then the car got going again. So look out for number 23, the Sunbeam Indianapolis. That will be working its way forward.
Do you think, Chris, that the fire spitting from the headers on the Fiat engine, is that why Fiat called their little 1 litre engine, 1100cc engine, the fire engine, the one that went in the Punto and Uno and things like that? Probably not.
Would be appropriate. His Mark hurls the Thunderbug sideways.
Pavements towards an apex with a big booth on. So fabulous. 156 was his flying lap.
Well, just a great chance, Marcus, to enjoy ever exuberant Mark Walker. Car number 20 leading the race. What's his advantage? 1.5 seconds last time, so it's 1.5 seconds now. Behind him, we changed the very different shape of the V12 Delage. Matthias Seleski racing for Albany House, and of course he got into the lead at the start of the race, but the guile and the sheer bravado through the tighter parts of the circuit put Mark Walker ahead in the GN Thunderbug. Of course, for a long time we had Pat Blakeney Edwards not performing.
And here comes Blakeney Edwards. That car's looking a lot quicker now. He's back up into 6th place, a 152, and while it's not showing as fastest lap, it is the fastest lap by about 4 seconds.
Running third in the race, Richard Scaldwell and Lorraine de Dietrich, 130 horsepower, and then just in the background behind him, about 5 or 6 seconds back, we'll see Ben Collins sitting high atop number 3, the 60 horsepower Mercedes. There is Collins sitting in the background, coming down out of Ford Water. He can see the turning in point of St Mary's long before his rivals. He sits so high, but very soon he's going to have Pat Blakeney Edwards coming past. There is Pat actually right on his tail, the tiny little.
He's gone past the Moors, hasn't he?
Past the Moors, and the next target is the Mercedes. He'll pick that off.
He almost drive underneath it, couldn't he?
So that'll bring him up into 4th place.
That was quite interesting because Ben Collins indicated you can come through on the right, but I don't think Patrick Blakeney was even to see his hand waving so far above
he was looking that high
was
up.
it? Yeah, exactly. He's upper place ahead of Collins, back into 4th place. Then Patrick Blakeney Edwards has the fastest lap of the race, though it's not currently credited on our screens. There is Ben Collins.
Gladiator in the background beginning to emit smoke, so that might be ominous. Amazing how quickly Ben goes in that 1903 car.
There's the Moors.
That's running now in 6th place. Of course, Pat Blakeney Edwards has devoted it. It's good working our way down the order, so the next car we may get a chance to look at should be Andrew Frankel out in the Bentley.
It's the type of car you'd want a novice cross on the back for.
Look at the valve gear hammering away
Amazing.
in the Curtis engine of the Moors. Ben is now in 5th place.
Blakeney Edwards, so 1:49.709.
Wow.
He's what? He's 19.7 seconds away from the lead.
So it's doable.
Yeah, but he came out with just over a quarter of an hour of the race remaining. This 20 there is Andrew Frankel running in 7th in the TT Bentley, 1923.
Snatching a gear change, Bentley gear, operating Bentley gears isn't easy.
No, and certainly looking at these Edwardian cars, you can see pretty much everything the driver is doing. They have so many controls outside the cockpit.
And such a variety of noises going past us down the pit straight.
Gareth Graham in the Monarch Special down in 8th place, and I can tell you Pat Blakeney Edwards, I think, has just taken Scaldwell's Lorraine de Dietrich for 3rd. Down at 11th, I think that move should have been pulled off, but yeah, good to see Graham going so well in that Monarch Special.
Duncan Pittaway back to 12th in the Fiat, where he started.
Well, race leader Mark Walker still sliding exuberantly around in the GN Thunderbird as it's sort of lazy pitter of the engine now. A much slower runner up ahead. Is that the Blitz and Benz?
Yep. Pulling off.
Well, pulling to one side. Is he definitely pulling off?
Has Mark Walker lost the lead?
No, still leading the race, still from... actually, no, Seleski is...
Let's come back at him.
So we didn't
I
see
think
that happen.
Seleski's gone ahead by quite a margin. There he is.
He's behind Mark Walker.
It's behind
he's
Mark
behind
Walker. It's a
Mark Walker.
transponder problem. It's all right. It's rectified on screen. 1.2 seconds.
Blakeney Edwards, third place. Another fastest lap of 1:49.609. Should score well. Down into fourth place in car 5 now. Hollings is 5th, and Neil Dyer is still in 6th place in 19th, the Moors. Andrew Howe Davis has been in the pits in the Scat. The gap between the leader and third place Blakeney Edwards is now 9 seconds, so is coming down. It's come down by 10 seconds in one lap.
A little bit of traffic up ahead of our race leaders, and this could be to the advantage of Pat Blakeney Edwards, but his speed advantage is so enormous. He will be catching them soon, and I really think with just under 9 minutes on the clock, he will be passing. So don't forget, he had a pit stop, emerged in 9th place, but yet within a lap or so, he could be taking the lead. Absolutely outstanding performance from Pat Blakeney Edwards. And certainly now the GN Curtis, the aero engine racer, is back on full song.
Going to work his way around the Alfa Romeo next. 2 cars between himself and 47 Matteo Seleski, who is up towards the front, towards that leader's nose to tail through just out of our sight. Here is Pat Blakeney Edwards.
Patrick nips past the brazier. He can clearly see the Delage in front. And is Mark indicating that the Delage should pass?
I don't know, why would he want to do that? I don't understand. He's in the lead of the race. He's been racing with Seleski close to him for a long time. Maybe he's saying, look in your mirrors, see who's coming.
Seleski looking over his shoulder all the time. Young man from South America. And in the background, there's Patrick Blakeney Edwards. A curious kind of harlequin colour scheme.
Looking down in the cockpit again, is a problem manifesting itself, or has he got a piece of fruit rolling around in the cockpit? Now he's looking out the other side, so maybe all is not yet well for Pat Blakeney Edwards. He's got the speed. Seleski now ahead of Mark Walker, so whatever that go past me signal was, it seems to be taken in by Seleski, but look in the background of the shot. There's the Delage leading the way. There is our erstwhile leader, Mark Walker, but not far behind, but possibly with a problem. He's only about 2 seconds behind coming through St Mary's. In the background of your shot there, you can see into the dip, coming up the rise behind there. The first 2 down into Lavin, chasing in behind them, Pat Blakeney Edwards and the GN Curtis. There it is, orange and purple checkered livery on the number 37. That's the aero engine car from 1921, giving chase, catching up. But is there a problem with that car? Certainly, Pat's looking everywhere apart from ahead.
Yeah, it was a slower lap last time through, a 55, having been down in the 49s, 1:49.609. Patrick Blakeney Edwards' fastest lap so far. He's had plenty of time to look over his shoulder and to see exactly what's around him. He's closing on Mark Walker, but Seleski's done a bit sideways.
Sliding
Yeah.
into Woodcut. Thunderbug, of course, GN based, so 2 GN based cars. Treating the chicane with great respect this year. Sensibly, it's full of water. And Mark is indicating to Patrick to pass on his left-hand side. Although, I think you're right, Bruce, that Patrick's got an intermittent problem.
Yeah, he did a 50 that time. He's looked up the inside. There's a line of dust covering a slippery patch coming up towards Madgwick Corner. These 2 spindly devices, very narrow rear track, curious camber on the front wheels. Lots of positive camber. Blakeney Edwards now second. He's looking up the road. You can see the big blue Delage in the distance.
No differential, of course, on the rear axle of either Thunderbird for Blakeney Edwards GN. So they go around the corners in a series of... They turn the corner into a series of mini straights.
5 minutes to go then, ladies and gentlemen, in this SF Edge trophy race. Here comes the Thunderbug. That's the GN Curtis. Fafnir ahead of it. Blakeney Edwards wrestling the car into Woodcote corner. Comes past the Fafnir of Guy Lachlan.
Good to see the field still going strong.
Yeah, running well in 12th place.
Duncan using third and fourth gears only, of course. Massive torque.
And a whole gaggle of interesting vehicles up there now. Look at that, what a sight. There is Patrick Blakeney Edwards sneaking along behind. Seleski was leading by 4.1 seconds.
There's a battle of the giants, the Halstead-Benz versus the Fiat S76. 18 litres versus 28. And Patrick dodges past both of them. Now he's very much within sight of the Delage. Visibly quicker.
Well, the GN Curtis beat the Delage last year. Seleski second last time around, ahead this time, but 3.5 minutes on the clock. I don't think he can defend this lead from Pat Blakeney Edwards this long. GN Curtis right under his tail now, about half a second down, so they go through the second part of Lavant. And of course these cars have hugely different performance potential at different points on the circuit, but when it gets to the corners, you know the car you want to be in is not the car in the lead of the race, the Delage, but the little GN behind.
Yes, last year Duncan Pittaway driving the GN Curtis won by 0.23 of a second, just under a quarter of a second from the Delage.
But having rushed up to the rear of the Delage, Patrick's slipping back a little bit.
Well, that's on the straights. Once he gets the corners, this part of the circuit, he should now pull it back in through Woodcote, but certainly down the straights, the V12 Delage is mighty for Matthias Seleski. He's been slightly delayed, though. Is this an opportunity for a better exit by the GN Curtis? But then the acceleration, clearly on the Delage, he won't pick up immediately, but once he gets it really spinning on the start-finish straight, he should open out, and so he does.
Time for 2 more laps. I think the new fastest lap to Blakeney Edwards, a 1:48.756. Of course, he did a 44.259 in qualifying, so he's still about 4 seconds off where he was yesterday.
Gladiator still smoking away, but going strong.
What we don't know, of course, with 2 minutes on the clock, is really if Pat Blakeney Edwards thinks his car is going to last the finish. He's spending almost all the race looking around in the cockpit, looking left and right, whereas Matthias Seleski is just driving absolutely smoothly, calmly in the lead car. I think there's a story to be told, and hopefully we'll get Pat Blakeney Edwards to the finish, and Henry Hope Frost can download information on what's happening with him. But Seleski for now, but for how much longer as they go past St Mary's into the dip up the other side? Is this the moment we see the change of the lead again in this race? We do.
Round the outside, over the brow before Lavant. Patrick Blakeney Edwards goes ahead. And here comes the big Delage.
It does. And sweeps past. Massive V12 power.
So there'll be time for one more lap after this. Will we be in the same positions? Will we have a change of the lead? Pat Blakeney Edwards going ahead before Lavant, carbon copy of this lap, and then the change of order down here. So maybe the chicane on the final lap will be absolutely crucial to decide the outcome of this race.
Really is top quality cat and mouse stuff. So let's give you that majestic view of the Alfa Romeo as it comes up towards Madrid corner. Edwards taking into the guess, a little bit of a slipstream.
And of course, the absolute crucial thing for Pat Blaney-Edwards is not to lose momentum, because once he gets to acceleration down the straight, such as out of Madrick, the delage will go away. So providing he can stay close in behind it, there is half a chance when he gets the slippery, the curvy bits of the circuit round past me at St Mary's. Will we have history repeating itself? But right now, last year's winner is in second place in the race, car number 37.
And a lot of cars to lap on this last lap. So they have to thread through this lot.
Well, he's got a much smaller car to thread through, but of course he doesn't have the grunt when they come out. Julian Majoub moves to the outside of the circuit and trying to go in the gap between the two cars. Does it beautifully. Cheeky Pat Blaney-Edwards down the inside, but the delage had a little bit more grunt. Now he's saying, go through, because I can pass you on the straight anyhow.
That is, don't lose too much ground.
Put your hands back in the cockpit. Now, gaggle of cars ahead. Now, Pat Blaney-Edwards knows what's coming, and it's happened. But now, a change of angle, because he couldn't, with the back marker ahead of him, Delage had to go to a different line. But now, I said it could come down to the chicane on the final lap. It won't be do or die, but it might be pretty close for Pat Blaney-Edwards. Is he close enough to make a move? Not there, he isn't.
Head to the fastest lap of the race last time round into the 47s.
It's all down to the chicane.
Pretty ahead, isn't it?
It is.
Looks on the inside, but
over and out,
not going to make it, is he? Fantastic.
It's going to be a dead heat.
Duck out of the slipstream. No, he can't get there. And that, what a fabulous race. What a fabulous race. Seleski wins. The youngster wins from Blaney-Edwards. 0.592, turning round a deficit of 0.23 from last year. Fantastic stuff. And
we're waiting for the Thunderbug to come through into third place.
Well, it showed how his performance really drops
Here he
away.
comes.
Yes, here he comes.
Huge slide. Mark Walker knows how to drive one way, and that is absolutely balls to the wall.
Julian Majoub finishes in the sunbeam, so an intermittent problem again for him.
Richard Schoolwell in the Lorraine Dietrich, the lofty machine comes through. 1909. And next up should be 1903. Mercedes. Is the Fiat not going to make it back? Is he going to finish in the pit lane? No, he's going to continue. Out of fuel, do you think? Josh did that finally.
The tank not big enough. So
He's going to get there. He's going to finish in 13th place, just ahead of Guy Luckland with the Fafnir.